Hello and welcome to Open Boosters. This is Edwin.
Oh yeah, I'm Edwin. I just forget sometimes,
I know. You should really know the name tag. I keep telling you put it on there.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should do that.
Yeah, and I'll label it Holly. How y'all doing today? Are you doing good? We're here and we are going to tell you everything you need to know about how Magic the Gathering went Metazoo.
That's right. Because it did. No, we're not trying to just clickbait you on the title. They didn't actually go Metazoo, but what if they did?
Yeah.
Would it matter? Would we care? Would you care?
Would the value go down? Would it go up? Would we have a cheese pizza later after work?
Probably. Cheese pizza sounds amazing.
It does.
But, it's a great topic. What would happen if Wizards of the Coast was to, do something stupid and crazy and then just close their doors? Here's the big question, just to clearly state it. No more Magic cards are being created. Wizards is done. And everything that they still own the IP. That doesn't mean anyone can just make it. But official Magic cards from Wizards of the Coast are no more. The formats are no more officially from them. Correct. So it's all just player everything.
There's no more sanction events. There's no more, let's go into the Pro League. We're going to have these extra prizes and crap.
Yep.
Nothing.
Yeah, so what happens in that situation? Does it matter?
And Arena is closed. It just turns off.
Now,
NTGO turned off.
Now, do you want to go first, or should I start blabbing like crazy?
Just go ahead and start blabbing. They haven't heard you in a long time. They always hear me just wander.
Okay, so I have two main categories that at least in my own head, I've identified of what I think would actually happen. There are people that really would be impacted by this, and those would mostly be people who have been buying cards, actively playing in events that Wizards puts on, going to events, using newer cards, and the stores as well. They would be in kind of panic mode, and there would probably be a freak out and a sell, and there would be price drops and such on the newer stuff. So that's almost it's almost like two entire brains. Those people, I want to put them in one category that I think they would freak out, and then there would be lots of volatility in prices.
Okay, so we're going with stores and current players, people who only have standard or slight modern.
Generally newer cards, okay. I would say. So now there's an entire other section of people, and this is it's a fraction of the people. If we were going to say there's 40 million Magic players around the world, just pretend those numbers are real, then how many people of that 40 million play formats that, and here's the big thing, that are player-ran formats that are invented by players, ran by players, the rules are done by players. They basically run on their own, and they don't give a crap about anything Wizards is doing. Now, there's a lot more in that bucket than you guys might think.
There's at least five.
There's at least five people. There's one and two, and then somewhere there's three more. No, there's of course, vintage and legacy players. A lot of them would just be happy to just continue going on like they're currently doing. They already kind of don't care what Wizards does because
let's go play Alpha 40.
Yeah, them too. Because Wizards doesn't support vintage and legacy, but there's way more than that actually. There's old school players, which is a bunch of people
that are really old.
That are a bunch of old farts like us. And then there's a bunch of formats that you guys might not have heard very much about. There's one called Alice that's only Ice Age and Alliances. There's Pre-Modern, which has a chunk of cards kind of around the Alice kind of format. A bunch of new. Or really old stuff
new relative to us.
Yeah, it's 93 through 98 kind of range. So it's got a bunch of sets in it. But I haven't even mentioned the biggest one. Commander. Remember guys, Commander started as EDH. EDH was a player-made format that got big and popular by players, doing all of our own thing, and then eventually Wizards had to recognize it, and then they kind of...
Well, they didn't have to recognize it. I think what they said was, this is another opportunity that I can make money.
Well, there's that, yeah. But the point is, it got big enough to where they thought there was money worth making, and so they took a lot of the essence of EDH, and then they made Commander, and they kind of called them the same thing. They're really not, but that's a whole different topic. The point is, though, Commander is it's the biggest format in the world for Magic. And a lot of those Commander players, they go to each other's houses, they play whatever they want for fun, they don't really care. There's a lot of people in the Commander era that don't give a crap about what Wizards is doing.
That is true. All right, so let's talk about value of cards. So as far as the newer stuff, the standard stuff, maybe Zendikar Rising, maybe Throne of Eldraine, all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
those would probably, and the newest releases, Doctor Who and that kind of stuff, except for Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings will stay alive because it's Lord of the Rings, because Lord of the Rings isn't Magic the Gathering.
You know,
But everything,
some Lord of the Rings, yes. Some would no.
yeah.
Right? Like, so the serialized, like, you know, very cool Lord of the Rings, I think would
Oh, yeah.
maintain. But everything else that's like multiple copies, just you're on the table.
Yeah. I think everything's going to go whoosh from the new era. Now, even in the old school era, I think at the beginning of this crisis, it'll start to tank because people FOMO up.
Oh, right. Yeah. There'll be like fear running like crazy, like contagion fear kind of thing. Which, in which case, by the way, if this happened, I would be running in that market and buying the crap out of these depleted prices on
Actually,
these old original
you definitely
cards.
would. You
Yeah.
definitely would.
Yeah.
You'd be coming over to my house and say, hey, did anybody offer you any cards?
Send them to me.
Yeah.
I'll buy them.
So, after the big giant dump, I have a feeling that after the colon is cleared,
Sorry.
there will be a giant wave of actual old school players starting their own bigger tournaments in bigger formats, because that's what people would just, start to drive into.
Yeah.
Because now that Wizards has stepped away and said, we're out, there's an opportunity to make money. You can actually host your own events, maybe sell tickets to these kind of events. Now, if you allowed proxy cards in, you'd get a lot more people coming in. It would actually, drive old school into a new realm. You can have Alice and you can have Commander events on your own, which, if there's an opportunity to make money, someone's going to do it.
Yeah, I want to expand on that because that's a big thing. Like, a lot of people that are Magic players right now, they don't do these formats that use like out of print, like older cards with like a bunch of people that just want to play like in that realm. They don't do that because they kind of never tried. They've never really explored that.
That's correct.
But if the spigot of new cards at Wizards was shut off, and your only option was to go find like old cards, a bunch more people would start seeking that out. And see, here's the thing: like, Magic it's one of those games that, like, it gets into your blood and it gets into your brain.
And it's an infection. You should actually go check with your doctor immediately.
I'm surprised there's not a prescription for Magic because it gets in and then like you get, your head gets so stuck on it. And like, that's not just going to go away because Wizards shut their doors. So I tend to think like if Wizards shut their doors, people would be like, but I loved Magic. I love these games. And then all you have to do is realize, like, wait a minute, I've still got my cards. My buddy Dan still got his cards.
I still got my cards.
What do we need Wizards for? We can just make our own format and we can just play.
Exactly.
And so...
And people have already done that, so it's a proven track record that it works.
And there's something to be said for, like, okay, I want to make this point clearly. Like, think about card games with the 52 card deck, right? You've got Poker, Texas Hold'em, Old Maid, whatever.
Never heard
so, like, those cards are not that interesting, but there's a ton of different games you can play for it.
I don't know, Suicide King is always interesting. Sorry.
Those cards are, like, they're not that crazy. There's only, like, 52 different ones, but people have been playing games with those cards for years.
I'm still looking for the number 2. That's very rare.
So, you guys, there's tens of thousands of different Magic cards that have ever been printed. And when I play old school format, what strikes me is like, wait a minute, I've only got like 4 Horsemen expansion, kind of like, Antiquities, Arabian Nights, like Legends, the Darkfallen Empires, and then like, basically like the beta set. That's all you've got. And like, I'm still playing old school format with a very limited card pool, having a great time, always having like new invented games. And that's like this tiny little pool. And this has been like decades I've been using that.
Yeah.
If you could even just say like, take like just one set, like Prophecy, throw Prophecy into that, and then like all the metagame changes, right? Yeah. And so like, I really adamantly believe we have so many Magic cards out there that there's formats that have never even been invented, never been tried. We don't need Wizards anymore.
No.
You could just go on the secondary market, buy cards, make a format, get another 300 people into it, and just go. Right?
I'm surprised one of the older people that in 1993, like Richard, could actually just go in and, from the selection of cards that he has, the infinite selection that he has, he could actually go and make his own little set and say, hey, I'm going to host this tournament. Everybody would show up.
Yeah. Yeah, the cherry picked Garfield list or something
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Yeah, tournament. That would be interesting.
That would be huge. He would
No.
make a ton of money. Everyone would pay to go do that.
And honestly, like even right now, that could happen. Like people could do that kind of format.
Yeah, there's
Cherry
nothing
pick
stopping
certain cards. Like, there's a format called Scryings. I don't know if you've heard of
I
it.
have no.
It's like old school, but then a few people that are well known in the old school like community, they kind of went and that like they kind of went into the next like 4 or 5 years after old school sets,
Okay.
and they cherry picked cards and they called it the Scryings set, and then you can
Based
play
on
old.
Magazine or
No. Like they just the name they came up with.
Okay.
But it's got stuff like River Boa, Emerald Charm. It's got
Okay.
like Hammer of Bogart. It's like some
Hammer
cards.
of
I
Bogart.
forget exactly which ones. But it's got like a set, and they call it the Scrying set. So you've got old school, then with adding in the Scrying set, and then they go off and they make a format on it.
Oh, that's good.
So like that's a cool thing, and
Yeah.
I feel like that's barely happened so far. And
Sure.
there's so much there to explore, and you don't need wizards for any of it.
Yep. So that'd be high potential for money making ability.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I predict would happen if Wizards of the Coast just went, screw it, we're done.
Yeah.
We're out.
If they went Metazoo.
But they went Metazoo.
But they're like, I'm done.
That's right.
I'm out.
We milked the cow.
Yeah.
We're out. Peace.
The udder's dry. I'm done. Yeah. So there we go.
There we go. I hope this was informative. What do you guys think? Put it in the comments below what you actually think would happen if Wizards of the Coast just walked away.
Yep.
No more cards.
Love to hear it.
Yeah. All right. Talk to y'all again real soon. This is my video for the day. Craziness. Still getting them up. Hey, thanks, Edwin.